have a lot of things y'all want to do. So let's get this started. Welcome to our public engagement meeting. You're probably here today because you own land that's been affected by the proposed zoning changes, or you're within a couple hundred feet of land that's being affected by zoning changes. Now then, I've got to get that out of my mouth. This all started a long, long time ago, and it started with a comprehensive plan that was passed in an election by the city of Sweetwater in about 2018. All right? So then, after it was passed in an election, a company called, the company was called Kindred Keating Collaborative, and Kindig Keast Collaborative. And they came here and helped the city develop a comprehensive plan. And they did that, and along with the plan, there was a future land use that is a part of the comprehensive plan. It's a vision that, you, the community, have said you see for the city of Sweetwater, because the future land use plan was an effort with public input and from people. And they looked at existing land uses. They talked to people that came out to public hearings. What do you guys want for the future? So that's where you get a future land use and something that the city can measure against projects that are coming to town. Does this fit our future land use? Now then, once you have the future land use, then you've got to have a zoning map that matches that land use. And so that's where some of you are going to be affected tonight, is the consultants, and probably rightfully so, looked at our present ordinance and they said, you've got way, way too many zones in this town. You've got something like, 14 zones, 6 dwelling zones alone. You've got 7 business, industrial, and manufacturing zones. And you don't need all those zones. You need fewer zones. Too many zones makes things complicated, more expensive for everybody, and you can do it with a lot less zones. And so the proposal was to reduce that to 9 zones. Now, when you do that, each zone is going to be a little more flexible, and it's going to be a little more open to stuff. So maybe you're going to be affected that way as well. So during this time, and keep in mind this election was back in 2018, so this has been going on for some time now. The firm was hired in 2021, and in November of 2022, the comprehensive plan was finalized and it was adopted by the city council. And so during that time, we've had virtually an all-new, except for Larry here, we've had just about an all-new planning and zoning commission. So we've seen a lot of people go. We've had a interim city assistant manager helping us with this project. We have had 2 directing and planning development persons with us. And Bester is our second. Bester joined us this year. So she was coming, or in 2025 rather. So it's 2026 now. So, sure. And anyway, so in August of 2025, this summer, we had our first public hearing about the proposed, the future land use map, I guess, in the zoning and land use update. And a lot of people came out and they're going, a lot of these ideas just don't make sense. And so we had a whole new board here, and we got to looking at it, and so we didn't pass anything. We tabled it. We had workshops. We looked at the zones. We looked at the maps. We moved zones around and things like that based on suggestions from people like you that were here for a public hearing. And so we've done that for about 8 workshops now. And in fact, it took us so long to get through the process, we had to drop the proposal, the original proposal. We voted it down to enable us more time to work on it and bring back a proposal that we think the city wants. So, so that's kind of where we are. And one thing hopefully you're going to learn about the document is it's a document that's going to be reviewed and updated, every 2 or 3 years. It's meant to be a fluid document. If things aren't exactly like you want, there are things like requests for zoning changes. There are grandfather provisions. There are limited use provisions, conditional use requests. I mean, I don't think anyone's here trying to take rights away from anyone's land or anything like that. And in many respects, I think what this will do is protect you from other people that may be, wanting to move in your neighborhood and do things that maybe aren't up to your standards. So that's hopefully a little bit of background of where we are right now. Mostly today, we want to hear from you guys, so, and what y'all think and what your concerns are. Bester Munyard-Ozzie is with us. This is Larry Ludlam, Scott Morgan. We're volunteers, guys. I mean, we don't do this for a living, and so, we're probably going to learn a lot as well. So, should we open it up to the public at this point, Larry? And Scott, please.
I would like to make a quick comment. Is one thing to remember through all of this is whatever legal use you have of your property now, you will still have, because it will be grandfathered in. I don't know if Jeff has already covered that or not.
Briefly.
No, just briefly.
But that is one thing to remember. If you have a house in the middle of a heavy industrial area, you can keep your house there. If you sell the house to somebody else, they have the rights, same rights that you had to it, because it will be grandfathered in. And so, as long as you don't do any, like bulldoze it and rebuild, then you can continue with whatever uses you already have, as long as they're legal uses. I just need to make sure we point that out, because I know that can be an issue.
Scott, anything you want to add before we?
I mean, I came in, I'm one of the newbies
Okay.
on this project. The workshops, I'll make a point about those. We would go through each and every zone and all of the different permitted uses within each zone. We tried to make it fit for the community, for how we're doing. And one of my pet peeves was the mobile homes. And so we finally agreed to allow mobile homes in basically the same areas that do now. A lot of the would be the northwest part of town, and then on the south part of town on either side of Lamar Street still will allow that. And anyway, we tried to make it match as best we could.
Yeah, I think another thing is, we learned a lot while we were doing this. We don't have this 100% right. I think we know that. There are avenues to make changes, and I know we are interested, and I know the city is interested if there are things that we overlooked, because this is a lot of work to do. Those problems can be addressed. Just because it's set this way now doesn't mean it's that way forever and ever and ever. If there is enough interest, we can make changes. There are avenues to do that.
One other thing I would add is, Sweetwater is starting to develop right now. And I think it's important that we get us a new zoning ordinance in effect. The one that's in effect now is over 40 years old, and it was mostly just kind of remnants from other zoning ordinances that we had before that. So a lot of it's pretty out of date right now. Sweetwater's getting looked at by a lot of people, and when they come to town and they choose to develop in Sweetwater, we want to make sure, that it's done to our standards. And so I think it's kind of important that we get this thing adopted here pretty quick. It's been, like I said, going on since the election back in 2018. So anyway, that's where we are right now. I guess if you want to look at maps, if you want to ask questions, The floor is yours, guys.
What's the difference between commercial and industrial?
Oh, I'll look at you on that. Sorry.
For industrial, like the name is, that's where you have the manufacturing, distribution, things of that nature. But commercial, this is where you have your retail, shopping, and all those kinds of things that are not necessarily where people are manufacturing stuff, distribution, and things that involve 18-wheelers for the most part and all that. So that's the major difference. It's commercial, then industrial. This is where you have things getting manufactured and
So I guess one way to look at it is commercial would be pretty much what Broadway is right now. That's where you go to, you have the stores, all of that activity, and then the manufacturing would be like where Ludlow Measurements is on Oak Street. That would be light industrial. And then the heavy industrial would be like I think the Biggs, and the other things out on Interstate 20 on the west side of town.
Okay, that's the question I have. West Broadway was rezoned from commercial from business to light industrial.
Broadway is rezoned, you have,
they are talking about this area.
yeah. So we have the light industrial on the west side of Broadway, which allows like the body shop that's right by the viaduct. That kind of fits what's there now, but you can also have the stores like the Napa Auto Store.
Storage sheds, we have storage, or Patsy has storage sheds out there. What, would that be a light industrial?
Yes.
Yes, and you're also grandfathered in.
And is there gonna be a tax difference between light industrial and commercial and residential?
As,
No, there's no.
as far as I know, there should be no tax difference because the tax should be based on the values that the appraisal district puts on the buildings. And as far as I know, I'm not an expert by any means, but as far as I know, the values they put on it don't really matter whether it's commercial or industrial or downtown or something like that. That I think is actually a question for the appraisal district. But as far as I know, the zoning changes we're making will make no difference on the tax values. And I really hope I'm not proved wrong.
And also taxes will change when, as we are hoping that Sweetwater will develop to where it's a viable city and everything, when everything is booming. That's when you can expect some changes. But as of now, we are putting things in place so that when that moment comes, we are ready. So as of now, I don't think you'll see your taxes, just getting up just because Sweetwater has adopted a new zone. No, but when development itself, because as you know that, property value, they go up with whatever is happening.
Yeah, I understand that, I just didn't know if there was gonna be a big tax difference when you change it from commercial to industrial or light industrial.
As far as I know, there will be no tax difference.
The tax office would base that on its market value,
Right,
and I see no bearing on that.
right,
It depends on comparable sales.
right.
Mhm.
Okay.
You
Yes.
said that if, like say, somebody had a home on the land they own, that it would be grandfathered
It will be grandfathered in.
unless it's tore down or whatever.
Yes.
What if that person left that house there and built a new one on that land? Is it gonna be grandfathered in, or the original house is still there?
I think new construction,
No, new.
Would not
you
be
cannot-
grandfathered
you
in.
cannot-
So you cannot build anything on that?
New construction, because you'll be non-conforming. You are non-conforming, legally non-conforming. So with that, you cannot build something that is contrary to the new zoning that is on the property now. New construction on non-conforming properties, no, that will not be allowed. Because in that case, we are hoping that you either stay with it as it is, you can make changes inside, but not changes that are like over 50% of what you have.
Right, so,
If it is over, then you are required, you are now supposed to go according to the new ordinance.
okay, I don't think building.
Are,
As an example,
you have land on a residential zone? I mean, you have a house on a residential zone?
No, I'm just asking that because the.
Okay.
On the other end of town, when they rezoned some stuff, as long as they left the fence, an old fence up, they were still grandfathered in.
I believe the changes that we're proposing, as long as you do less than 60% or
Well,
50%,
I believe it's
50%.
50.
less than 50% change. You could do work on the existing house, but you could not build a brand new house.
I can add on to my house, is that correct?
You can, so you can.
Add on?
Yeah.
Can
No
you-
more than
Yeah.
50%.
Well-
I'll make my house bigger.
Right, in
Yeah, but
a,
it cannot double. You
Yeah.
cannot double.
As long as it's not more than
if it's a
50%.
house in a residential
No,
Well,
area,
in a residential,
500
No.
more feet.
yeah, in
no,
resi-
they're talking about if it's a not zoned for residential
yeah.
and they already have a house.
right.
But you can only do,
I'm in heavy, gonna be in heavy industrial now.
one thing you can do is you can file for, zoning change.
Yeah, the challenge is that you are, say you are in this area that we are saying is supposed to be heavy industrial. The dark.
That's where I'm at.
So right here is supposed to be, the reason why we have zoning is that you don't want uses that are not compatible to be found where they are not supposed to be. This is for health reasons, this is for, for your own good, as a property owner. So you don't want to be residential right in the midst of industrial. That is not right, that is also the reason why we have.
But this house has been there since nineteen
Yeah,
seventy. I've
yeah,
been
yeah, and like we are saying.
occupying this place, not gonna move.
Yeah, so that is fine, you are grandfathered, like was saying. What
But I
we are,
wanna add on to my house.
you can add, but you cannot add like more than 50%.
So if your house is 2,000 square foot, you could add up to 1,000 square foot to it.
Yeah, but not much more.
You couldn't double the size
Without requesting permission.
without requesting variances or permission.
But even if you ask for permission, you're gonna come before planning and zoning and so as city council. And of course, our staff will say they are within heavy industrial. So we have to like, okay, you want to change, you want to make, you almost, this is area that we are supposed to have heavy industrial. So you want to continue adding
There's a
this.
bunch of homes out there.
And they're all grandfathered in.
Are there any proposed industrial people moving in that you know of?
No.
I've
Well-
been there 30 years, I haven't seen any growth out there, so that's why I'm kinda concerned of why all of a sudden it's going to a heavy industrial. You know, why is this part, I understand Biggs and all that's out on the interstate. There's nothing happening there on Broadway.
Well, like
Well,
I mean,
they say,
we got farmland right behind me and ranch land, you know, it's a very small park across there that's, yeah, it's kind of, it's a narrow area,
Right.
you know, that's what I'm trying to figure out, you know, why the sudden change of going to heavy industrial. I mean, they've got me in manufacturing right there, there's not but one manufacturing place out there. So I'm just concerned, okay, is there people coming in that you're aware of? You know, that's already said, hey, we wanna come into Sweetwater, put me a spot out there.
I'm not aware of any.
yeah, but we do have our SEED, the Economic Development Department. They are the ones who know businesses that are trying to come into the city. But one thing about what we are doing is to lay the base so that way, when an opportunity is there, the city is ready. Because they say opportunities come for people who are prepared. When you are not prepared, then you want to start putting your eggs together. The company will move somewhere else. But right now we are putting our eggs together so that when that opportunity comes, like we know right now, a lot of AI centers are coming, a lot of data centers. Of course, they are not all attractive uses, but things are coming. And with development, you never know. It will take just one company. Before you know it, everything is coming. So this is why it is important for the city to make sure that whatever you do, you have your zoning is where you need it to be. Is it perfect? Is it perfect right now? No. but we have something in place to work with.
When we were going through this, we have no knowledge or anticipation of any one particular person. I mean, we're doing it all from a hypothetical point of view.
Well, hypothetically though, why would we not be allowed to change our living, only put 1,000 feet on 2,000-foot house? Because we might have an influx of businesses come in. So we would be giving up our rights and our homes and our property in case this came up because it's rezoned. So if you look at it from both standpoints, you're giving up your rights as a property owner or a homeowner because we might have businesses coming in. Is that incorrect?
Well, I think this is where it has been said, you can always come. As a property owner, know that you have the right. No matter what the city does, you have a right to always come before the Planning and Zoning Commission, before City Council. And they will weigh whatever it is that you are trying to do. Nobody, the city cannot stop you as a property owner to say you cannot come. No, not what we are doing. But should it come to a point where you need to have your property done, rezone, you have the right as a property owner. Is it going to be approved? That's something different.
But
Because
it can't be rezoned now. This is the proposal of what it is, and so nothing has been written down where only if you 50% is all you can do on the proposal for now, correct?
it is, we do have I printed some of those conformities. So you are free to get one, so you can read about them and see what, it is written down, everything is written down.
Thank you.
Why did you put in the 50%?
That's what I'm, it's
I know you got it on paper, but why did you put it on the paper?
why,
I don't
That's pretty
understand
much
that.
standard practice, isn't it?
yes, you do have to
Standard
have,
practice where?
well, different cities
Not
actually,
in Sweetwater.
Not Sweetwater, but other communities. We had, actually, if you wanna know, I
An
think,
example.
if, originally, I think it was, what, 25%? It was a smaller number than that, and we
Well,
brought it up to
the
50%.
consultant is.
I cannot
Somebody
give,
has a house in the industrial area, and they wanna make it a castle, I don't see why they can't do that. It's their own fault for living there if they wanna be there.
The way I understand it, Walt, is of course you'd have to get a permit from the city to add that castle onto your property. And if the code enforcement sees that it's a violation of the zoning ordinance, all they would have to do is ask for a variance and make a good case for it to build the castle.
and then you can build your castle.
Well, you have to ask for the variance.
Yes.
You may be denied the variance.
The thing is, when you don't have rules and regulations, then it's a free flow for anyone. People can do whatever they want. You build your castle, someone will want to build something else that is opposed to your castle, and it can go on, and there's no order in the city. So the reason for zoning ordinance is for orderly development of a city.
But if your castle is already there,
It's grandfathered.
but they can't go where they want to. If they wanna go up 10 stories, why can't they do that? I don't understand that. It's their land, it's grandfathered in there, but you're putting a limit on the grandfather.
And I also want to let you know that there is what is called spot zoning. That is when you have your, say, residential in the midst of have industrial. It's not something that is allowed to have what is called spot zoning. So this is why you are seeing like not just industrial right in the middle of residential.
Well, I'm with them, I don't understand what you're doing, why you're doing that. Why would you limit somebody in their own house that's already there?
That they own. There's always been a limit.
She said pick me, so.
Okay, so my issue that I have with this is I have a mobile home that everybody's talking about, and I understand the fact that if I choose to bulldoze it down, I can't put a new one there. Well, what if something out of my control happens, tornadoes, hail, anything, I mean, I've already had to replace the roof on it. But what if something out of my control happens to my house, am I not able to put another house on there? Being in the light industrial now.
Okay, my understanding is if it's less than 50% damage
Of the value of the,
of the value, you can do it. If it's more than that, then you would have to ask for a variance, or you would have to come, and you would have to come to the zoning board. I think, is that correct, the zoning board, to ask for a variance?
yeah, but that variance will be difficult because then the zoning does not allow you to. So it will be time for that property to then revert to what is adopted.
So it would be useless to me, is what you're saying. If something happens to my house, my property.
If it's catastrophic.
Yeah, like out of my control that I'm not gonna go bulldoze my house. So if something happens, that my house is a total loss.
I guess that's why the percentage was put in. This is why we have the percentage. We know things happen, so that's why there's that.
But if it's a
So
total,
I can only put 50% of the house that I own there now?
50% of the value if it is destroyed, more than 50%.
No,
So
I'm
that's
saying
gonna
total
affect
loss.
anybody that has a house on any of these properties. If my frame house gets blown away in a tornado, I won't be able to rebuild.
Well, if you are in a residential area,
if your
I'm
grandfather,
not in a residential
if your
area. I'm
grandfathered in,
grandfathered
you would
in.
not be able to.
My question has not been answered.
I think the way the ordinance is proposed, if your house is hit by a tornado and wiped out, you would not be able to rebuild it.
Thank you for that. That's what I needed to know.
Without,
I agree with that. So what do I need to do to proceed with this?
We have a public hearing on January the 27th.
Seven.
That would be a good,
Where is this
I'm
notified
sure.
at? Cause I got
What?
word of mouth. I don't get on the computer and play around and find out, look and see where all the meetings are at. So I'm just kinda curious.
so for people who have their properties that are being rezoned, or within 200 feet of properties that are being rezoned, they got a notice.
I never got a notice.
That means your property is not being rezoned.
Well, it is.
Well, the thing is, you might think that you are residential, but you may already have industrial. That's what may be happening. You may think that you are residential. Yes, you have a house,
I'm not
but
in residential. Right now, I'm in manufacturing. And it's
Yes.
moved me to heavy industrial.
I didn't
Yes.
get
And
a
I
notice
have
for
not
this
got
one.
any kind of farm
yes,
letting know about any meeting. I'm just curious about how come we're not
yes.
being notified.
So you
Because I
are,
don't play on
because you're already in a
you're
manufacturing,
already in industrial, which is manufacturing. You're already in the, so you are not having a zoning change at all. Yes, sir. So that resolves the issue.
So that means he can build whatever he wants to build out there?
No, he was already not
no,
non-conforming.
that's
Before
probably,
all this, he was already non-conforming. He was in manufacturing and he's residential.
and you did not receive a notice because you're already in manufacturing.
That may be your situation as well. Ma'am.
Yes, and so I don't know how we address that.
So because we don't know now, we may have to go back and see how your mobile home got to be whether it was done legally or illegally. We don't know, because right
What
now,
if it was done illegally, then what? I don't know.
look, well, the thing is, this zoning ordinance is not legalizing things that were not legal.
So what would happen if it was done illegally?
Well, I think the whole issue is for us to do things right.
So I'd have to move.
I don't know, ma'am, I can't tell you what you need to do, but the fact, from what you are saying, it might be you're already light industrial.
Okay, well, I'm saying I did go through professionals and Champion put my house
Or you
out
just
there.
came with your mobile. I guess that's where our zoning guys, our code enforcement will come in. Yeah,
I got all the permits and everything right up here in the city office.
yeah, if you can, we can look at your property more. You can come in and talk to us tomorrow morning if you have time.
yes, please, in the back. Hello.
You're fine.
my zoning is supposed to go from dwelling to general retail. What exactly does that mean? Does that mean a nightclub can go up next door to me if they want to? I don't want a nightclub next door to me.
From wedding to, which area are you in? Because their properties like are along Lamar. You see that there are some houses, at the same time there are some businesses.
We're all
That-
houses except for one business and it has absolutely no traffic whatsoever.
Which
I'm
property?
at 14th,
Oh,
about
yeah,
a block from, 2 blocks from,
okay, I think you're
From
talking
Haley?
about this area right here.
Okay, she's real close to where
That is since
where you,
been
Skinny Drive.
where you clean that up.
I said it has since been changed, so it's not going to be changed
it's
anymore.
not gonna be changed?
No,
It'll be residential.
yes, yes, thank you.
We missed that one, sorry.
Yeah, but it has
That's
since
one
been
that we
changed.
picked up.
Yeah,
What about the part where they're on Haley Street right there coming up to James? Where
exactly,
Lawrence
same area.
Development is on the map that I could.
So I got a letter. I got a letter that says
The
that
whole
everything's
block
gonna be changed.
on James Street is gonna be
That's the same
rezoned
area.
to,
That's the same area, it has since been changed.
On James?
that's all out.
Haley and James?
May you, are you able to point?
1,000 block at James.
Yeah, cause we live at 405, it said that,
Maybe
it was
you
gonna
could
be
make-
rezoned
make-
200
Oh,
feet
okay.
from our house.
I've got to get around here so I can actually see it the right direction.
On the map I was looking at, I had to get a magnifying glass.
Yeah, it's tough for me. Trifocals, yeah, it's tough.
Anyway, this is our proposed.
Ma'am, do you mind coming to point out the area? Right on this map? You can come to.
Okay.
Give me just a second. We'll talk. I'll call you in just a minute, huh?
What he's talking about. So this is where area land is.
Just past the railroad, there's a road.
This is where Lawrence
So
Street is.
y'all are gonna be right along.
Yeah, and this is all residential.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
This is down on here.
So
This is general retail.
it's the current zoning map.
Here. I think the H did I think it should be pink and yellow.
Okay.
I believe it's gonna be light industrial, yeah.
What does that stand for as far as the revenues come?
We'll have to look at the permitted uses, but of course, since you're doing that now, you're grandfathered.
But if we were trying to build, so it's pretty much the same thing, so if we're trying to update our mechanic shop, so I can employ some people to better service the community.
Johnny, how we doing?
Be able to do so if we tear down houses.
50% is the threshold.
What is RC? What about?
Regional commercial.
So like say where my shop tornado comes through and it's over 30 minutes, you know.
To me, that's the main.
You got a notice?
That's my big deal. We're, you know, we're talking about building up, because we're the local regulators, you know, so we build houses and build buildings and things. Y'all are building a Sweetwater right now, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, so that would be, do you have a, is there, that goes around.
About the non. Okay.
Good. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Regional,
What is the
he was asking about right here, and it's a,
I called you before and you told me not to worry about it.
if you're in business, yes.
We're in here.
he does,
If you're in business, yes, that's actually an advantage for you, because that's the high-end area of businesses. High-end, top of the class.
I'm right on the corner of
Any of your business can go in there.
Well, I'm not gonna change anything. I'm just gonna make sure I'm not getting in trouble.
You are not in
I'm not gonna change anything on me or anything.
well, you may be in a little trouble with me, but not with Bester. A diesel repair shop?
And like has been said, it's very fun.
Richard brought up, you need to give him a raise, by the way. He brought up, put an act of God exclusion. You mentioned a fire, a tornado or something. You know, I mean, if that's the case, that shouldn't trigger unauthorized use.
Certainly something to consider.
Yeah, an act of God, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about act of God type things, anyway. We should talk about that.
Okay, one comment I would like to make. I think this does show that we are wanting to listen to you. We have done as good as we can, but this is being pointed out. There are spots that we missed. Some of those we can address, some of them we cannot, unless we make a wholesale change to part of it. So, we're doing the best we can on this, and then I'll let you go from there.
So I did notice earlier that there's 2 seats open on this zoning and planning committee.
No, city council, that it's coming up.
City council.
Yeah.
It was just I happened to see it on the internet. It was under, when I pulled up the planning and zoning.
Yeah, and
I was
that's,
noticing everybody that I knew, no disregard, I don't know who you are, never met you
Right.
before, but I knew these people. But I noticed there was 2 open seats.
Uh-huh.
and I don't know that they are open, because I don't think we had everybody listed.
No,
No.
not for pre-planning and zoning.
No, 2 city council
Yeah.
positions are up. They just called for a city election today.
No,
City
if you look
council.
on the planning and zoning members,
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
that list is not up to date.
Oh, it needs to
Right,
be up.
right,
Yeah,
right.
but I think we have all positions on the P and Z board filled.
We have an alternate here too, Richard Ferguson, who I didn't introduce earlier. Richard, thanks for being here. He's an alternate on our board. Robin, back, you had a question?
Yes, sir.
Talk to me. Russ.
I think it'd be in everybody's interest if we could get the central appraisal district in the same room as y'all at the same time. Because this is gonna affect everybody's taxes here. You can say it's not, but it is. If you change something from commercial to heavy industrial, when it upgrades a zoning change, that comes with a tax upgrade too. Just know it does. And
I'd have to see.
I'd just like to maybe get central appraisal involved in one of these 2.
All right.
We'll
Thank
have to
you.
see if we can do that.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Are we able to do like propositions for our grandfather clause? Like, are we able to make changes, or is it just like a standard? Does that make sense?
Not sure what you're asking,
Like,
but
does everybody in this room that's in light industrial have the same exact grandfather clause with their house? Or do you make
Yes.
certain adjustments for each individual resident?
It's
I
the
think they're
same.
all the same.
No, it's only 50% on damage, is that what you're talking about, Kate?
More so like, if I have a house that's 1,400 square foot, how come I can't grandfather in a house that's 1,400 square foot? No matter what happens to my house, I'm able to put in a 1,400 square foot house if something ever happened out of our control.
And why would you even have to have 50%? Why can you not rebuild and redo whatever you have. Why put a percentage of repair on that?
Right.
I find that redundant. It's your property, put it back. Why have it, you can't, the grandfather clause is gone because of that? No, there should be no stipulation on the repairs on 50%.
It's insured for the amount, but you're not able to rebuild
But you
that
can't
amount.
do it because of the rezoning. No, that, I find that unacceptable.
I
Good
think all we
point.
can say on that is we'll need to look at it and see,
Okay. That'd be good.
see if we can do something different. I don't know if we can or not, but we'll need to look at it.
I think it should
And,
be.
and another point that Richard brought up, like an act of God or something out of your control, you would have an exception for that. I mean, why not?
That's what we're getting at, excuse me.
Yes.
This is what she's been getting at. She owns her own property, she owns her own house. If something was to happen and she no longer had it,
Like it's 100% loss. I
gone,
have insurance
she
on
don't
my
wanna
house.
pack up and leave this town. She was born and raised here, she's, anyway, and she wants to go back and rebuild what she had.
My
You're saying
insurance
she
wouldn't
can't do
allow
that.
her to.
I think
Or
we,
they're saying, you know, you only can build 50% back.
I think as the P and Z board, we need to go back and ask that question specifically and see what are our options.
I would appreciate that.
We need an answer, cause that's what it boils down to.
And I don't know if we can change it or not, but we need to look at it and see what our options are.
It was good in the beginning, why can't it be good until the remainder of her life? I'm just saying.
Understand?
It was good for her now, it will be good for her later. And anything can happen.
Now, I'm getting too old to start over, something
Shoot
happened.
far, yes.
Who governs y'all? If you said you had to go back and look to see if you can do it or not.
Do what?
Who governs y'all? If you had to go back and look to see if you
She
can do it.
rebuild 100%.
We have to see what the state regulations are, and we have to see, I think, what the feeling of the city commissioners, city government is.
So y'all are governed by them, by those two entities?
I think that's our two controlling people. We are governed by, the state does have specific guidelines we have to follow. And the city council is the one that can give final approval, and if they're not gonna give approval to something, why would we want to propose it?
I thought you were corrupt.
Hey, we're just volunteers on this. Anyway,
But some very good concerns.
it is,
That
and I,
need to be thought about and
and I will say, I am the old timer on this board, and I think I was on this board for 2 meetings or 3 meetings before all of this started happening, so I'm still pretty new. I don't know the regulations inside and out, we'll just have to look at it to see what we can do, whether we can make changes, whether we can't. I don't know, but I will say we will look into it.
I have a question. None of this affected me really until recently, but I became the new Dirksen Portable Building dealer here, and I'm having a lot of interest in people looking into residential cabins. And so my question is there any parts of town that are zoned in such a way where somebody like a mobile home or one of these cabin residential grade structures can be put and then finished out according to city code? With the electrical inspections and plumbing inspections and all that along the way.
Yes.
Is there any zones in town where that can happen?
Absolutely.
We have the court team, Robert, do you, can you say something?
No, on the, we do get a lot of calls for storage buildings that are, people wanna put to live in. But the 2021 residential code that we're enforcing does not allow for a storage building for living. It's meant for storage that doesn't meet fire code, doesn't meet electrical, plumbing. It's built for storage, not to live in. You know, I mean,
So, let me,
Manufacturer represent builds both.
see, you're talking about not a storage building as a residential thing, you're talking about
Manufactured home.
basically a manufactured home.
Prefab.
Much like what used to be called ready-built or,
Yeah,
you know, something along that.
so it's not a storage building, it's a pre-manufactured house.
Have to look at the specs of the layout of it to see if it's gonna fit under our 2021 residential code for you to.
But I think the neighborhood mix zone allows for that type of housing.
The orange,
The neighborhood, the NM
Orange.
neighborhood mix.
all that orange area will allow for that. And it has to be HUD approved. It has to be approved by HUD.
Thing is, you just have to fasten it to the ground.
I've got all the state engineered
If
specs.
it's gonna be a dwelling, then it's not gonna
Trailer
be,
house, let them tied down.
yeah, not for, it's different mobile home storage building.
No, we're not-
Storage building has to be anchored down on an approved surface, but for storage. If you put it there at 111, I mean, it's gonna have to be on, it can't just be anchored down like a storage building.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
understand, but you gotta understand the manufacturer I represent builds them both. I have some 8x12 and 10x16 buildings that are sheds and storage buildings.
But you're talking about actual houses.
Shovels and stuff, and that's all they're good for. But they also build residential grade structures that are as good as any carpenter could hope to build as far as the stud spacing and floor joist and everything else. And I've got the specs, are state engineer approved. My question is, they don't finish them completely inside. And so if a customer wanted one and was putting it in the appropriate part of town, I realize you're not wanting to put one of these beside $1 million house on Country Club Drive. I understand. But certain parts of town, if a customer wanted to put one of these and then start getting the approved people to come in and do the electrical, hard stop, get it inspected, move on, do the plumbing, get it inspected along the way where it meets city code, then I'm curious if that is something that's doable and not just classified as a shed, because it's far from that, if you have a chance to look at some of it.
It's actually a pre-manufactured house. It's not that the owner finishes out.
Basically, it's just not finished out inside. And they, even the manufacturer fully understands that to meet city codes, it would need to go through the inspection process and meet the codes that the city has in place for electrical and plumbing, stuff like that.
I know there are minimum square footage requirements. Robert, what is that?
I believe it's, the smallest is 400 square feet is, for a home.
That they
you know,
exceed that.
Yeah,
There you
we just have to look at it and see, it just, I know the 2021 resident, a lot of them, they're coming, and they're nice, they look like you got a porch and this and that, but they're labeled as a storage building, you know, but we just have to look at each
Labeled by
one.
you as that, or?
I'm sorry?
Labeled by you as that, or?
No, sir, I'm going off 2021 residential code is what it says on the.
So I think if you can leave that,
These are 2024 international building codes and 2024
Should be no
international
problem.
residential codes.
so I think if you can leave that with Vester and Robert, they can look at it and
I'd just like to know if I can. I
Yeah.
don't want to spend time drawing up a quote, drawing up plans, getting them interested in coming up here and trying to get permits from the city and
Yeah,
stuff.
Of course not, of course
But-
It's a no-go from the very get-go.
Right, no.
Then-
but if it does meet the
The code-
regulations, the
building code,
requirements,
yes.
there are, the NM zoning mix would allow it if it meets it, but they'll need to have time to look at it and make sure that it does meet the requirements.
Anyone else? Thank you for being here. Thank you for being concerned for your property and being concerned for the city of Sweetwater. Again, we do have a public meeting, and that will be, tell me again the date, January
27 at 5:45.
27th at 5:45, right here. And in the meantime, I think we'll be busy, and we'll certainly take under consideration what you guys have brought to us this evening. Anyone else?
Thank y'all for what
Okay.
y'all do.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all so
Thank y'all for
much. We
coming.
appreciate
Thank you
all
for
of
coming.
y'all.